And I'm Nafis Imtiazuddin. You've just heard the headlines. We'll present details of those and other stories. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina inaugurated the electronic payment system government to person for disbursement of the allowances of social safety net programs for the marginalized people, including elderly and the physically challenged persons and widows. Under the system, more than 6.6 million beneficiaries would draw the money for every month directly from the banks after getting the message of allowance through mobile apps and biometric verification. The system will end ghost payments of the benevolent program of the government, ensuring the beneficiaries get allowance within a time frame every month, cutting out the role of any middleman. Addressing the function at Gonobhawad, the Prime Minister said all the economic and social programs of the government were aimed at the welfare of the grassroots people. The programs were taken up to fulfill the constitutional obligation of the government to ensure basic rights of every citizen, which was the lifelong dream of the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Terming the social safety net program as an outcome of a long idea of Awami League. The Prime Minister said initially the amount of the allowance had been fixed to help beneficiaries procure at least 10 kilograms of rice every month to have their daily meals. Now the amount of the allowance has been increased as the country's economy improved over the years. The Prime Minister urged the beneficiaries not to be indolent in doing any job after getting the allowance, saying the support was only for helping them to find out their means of living, not to become lazy or giving up any occupation. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has called upon all to stay alert so that anti-state, anti-liberation forces and the war criminals could never return to state power. The Prime Minister made the call while inaugurating distribution of honorarium allowance through electronic system among the freedom fighters under Cox's Bazar district through video conferencing. This was from Gonobhawad today. Sheikh Hasina said, "Those who committed genocide during the War of Liberation and did not want independence of the country could never want Bangladesh to be established economically, socially and culturally developed." She said the people of Bangladesh had a glorious history of sacrifice, and her government had been working tirelessly so that the achievements in education, healthcare, poverty reduction and food security did not go in vain. The Prime Minister said the illegal power grabbers had distorted history of the Liberation War, destroyed the spirit of independence and politically rehabilitated the war criminals by giving them voting rights. About the movement against quota, Sheikh Hasina said the system had been introduced aimed at creating facilities for the freedom fighters and their children so that they could contribute to the country's development. Referring to the previous judgment of the High Court, she said children of the freedom fighters are getting jobs under the quota only after qualifying in the highly competitive examinations. Sheikh Hasina strongly criticized a section of intellectuals, saying they were misleading the youth through their wrong perceptions and interpretations about the court's order on quota. The appellate division also had a directive to fill up vacant posts from the merit lists if candidates were not found available for freedom fighters quota, she said. Later, the Prime Minister talked to the local administration, public representatives and freedom fighters of Cox's Bazar through video conferencing.
Board Chair of the Trust Fund for Victims of the International Criminal Court, ICC, Moto Noguchi, has called on Speaker for Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhry at her hotel suite in The Hague of Netherlands today. During the meeting, the ICC official apprised Dr. Chaudhry about the activities of the Trust Fund and the procedure of getting legal assistance of the victims under the fund. The Speaker thanked the board chair of the Trust Fund for Victims and lauded its contribution in ensuring justice of the victims. Earlier, Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhary visited Peace Palace at The Hague, where Senior Legal Counsel of International Arbitration Court, Grat Schofield, held discussion with her. Road Transport and Bridges Minister Ubaidul Qadir has said it is now clear to all that BNP is doing dirty politics about Khaleda Zia's treatment. He said this while addressing a meeting on road situation at Gojaria in Munshiganj today. Road Transport and Highways Division Secretary Mohammad Nazrul Islam, senior officials of law enforcing agencies and leaders of transport owner and labor association were present at the meeting. Ubaidul Qadir said BNP now wants to cash in on the quota reforms movement after failing to form anti-government movement. He expressed hope that the upcoming Eid journey will be smooth like it was in Eid al-Fitr. Ubaidul Qadir said cattle markets cannot be set up beside roads and highways ahead of Eid al-Adha to make Eid journey hassle-free. Health and Family Welfare Minister Mohammad Naseem has said that the 14-party alliance will work unitedly in the upcoming city, corporation and national parliament elections. He told this to the journalists at Awami League President's political office at Dhanmondi in the capital today, following a meeting of the 14-party alliance. Jatiyo Party JP Secretary General Sheikh Shahidul Islam chaired the meeting, which was also attended by Bangladesh's Sammobadi Dol General Secretary Dilip Borua, Awami League Office Secretary Dr. Abdul Subhan Golab, its organizing secretaries Khalid Mahmood Chaudhary and Mohibul Hassan Chaudhary Nafal, and leaders of 14-party alliance. Later, 14-party spokesperson Mohammad Naseem told the journalists that Dilip Borua will conduct election activities of 14-party alliance in support of Awami League mayoral candidate in Sylhet. Besides, Sheikh Shahidul Islam will monitor election campaign in Borishal, while Fazle Hussain Badshah in Rajshahi City Corporation election. He said there is no possibility of any dialogue with the BNP about the general election, as it will be held following the constitution.
Commerce Minister Tufail Ahmed has said the price of RMG items hadn't increased in the international market, although in Bangladesh the work environment had been modernized, the quality of factories upgraded and laborers' wages raised. The minister made the remarks as chief guest at a discussion meeting titled Capacity Building of Remediation Coordination Cell RCC, Sharing Process and Way Forward. This was at a city hotel and organized by the Ministry of Labour and Employment. With State Minister for Labour M. Mujibul Haq as the chair, FVCCI President Shafiul Islam Mihardeen, US Ambassador Marcia Bernicat, Labour Secretary Afroza Khan and DGMEA President Siddiqur Rahman also spoke on the occasion. Tufail Ahmed said Foreign Buyers Alliance had been given 6 months interim time and would not be extended further. Information Minister Hassanul Haq Inu has laid emphasis on having sustainable politics and economy in the country, disassociating with militancy and terrorism. He said militancy and terrorism would have to be kept out of power and politics for sustainable politics. The Information Minister said this while addressing a function arranged by the Economic Reporters Forum, ERF, at its office in the city today. ERF President Saif Islam Bilal and ERF leaders, among others, spoke at the occasion. The Information Minister said the country would have to follow inclusive economy policy for making the economic growth sustainable. He said Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina had created a place for trust, reliability and confidence, the way the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, had created the same, based on which Bangladesh had earned independence. Hassanul Haq said every effort must have a philosophy, but those who believe in communalism, militancy, terrorism and who are pro-Pakistani have no philosophies whatsoever. Earlier he formally launched ERF website and unveiled a members directory of ERF.
The International Crimes Tribunal ICT handed death sentence to 4 war criminals for committing crimes against humanity in Rajnagar Upazila of Moulabibazar district during the 1971 Liberation War. The 3-member tribunal, led by Justice Shahinur Islam, passed the order today. The 4 condemned convicts are Akmal Ali Talukdar, Abdul Nur Talukdar alias Lal Mia, Anis Mia and Abdul Musabbir Mia. Of them, Akmal Ali is now in jail while the others remained absconding. 2 allegations brought by prosecutions were proved against the criminals. They have been sentenced to death in one allegation, and in another one, the ICT sentenced them to jail unto death. Earlier on Monday, the tribunal fixed today for delivering its judgment against 4 war criminals. On March 27th, after concluding the hearing on the arguments from both sides, the tribunal kept the verdict pending. All of them were accused of committing genocide, murder, abduction and torture between May 7th to November 24th during the 1971 Liberation War carried out in Pajgaon and Poshim Bagh villages in Rajnagar Upazila. Earlier on May 7, 2017, the tribunal framed charges against them. A preparatory meeting was held in the capital today on finalizing Information Ministry's program in observing the National Mourning Day and 43rd Martyrdom Anniversary of Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, on 15th August. Information Secretary Abdul Malik chaired the meeting. The Information Secretary at the meeting asked all employees of organizations and offices under the Information Ministry to engage appropriately for the success of the programs of 15th August National Mourning Day. The meeting was told that Bangladesh Television, Bangladesh Betar, Bangladesh Sangbad সংস্থা and all other private channels, radio stations and online media will broadcast programs and news highlighting importance and significance of the day. The meeting was further informed that the national dailies will also publish supplements highlighting the day's significance. High officials of Information Ministry and subordinate organizations attended the meeting.
And now international news. There has been a barrage of criticism in the US after President Donald Trump defended Russia over claims of interference in the 2016 elections. At a summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Finland, Donald Trump contradicted US intelligence agencies, saying Russia had no reason to meddle. John McCain, the senior Republican senator, said Trump's seeming acceptance of Putin's denial was a historical low point for the US presidency, and the Helsinki summit between the two leaders a tragic mistake. Senior Republican Senator Lindsey Graham said Trump's answer on meddling would be seen by Russia as a sign of weakness. The top Republican in Congress, House Speaker Paul Ryan, said Mr. Trump must see that Russia is not a US ally. The president's own intelligence chief publicly broke with him. Russia is responsible for ongoing, pervasive attempts to undermine US democracy. Director of National Intelligence Dan Coates said in a statement. Vladimir Putin denies all the claims. The US government has charged a 29-year-old Russian woman with conspiracy to act as a Russian government agent while infiltrating political groups. Maria Butina had developed close ties with the Republican Party and had become an advocate for gun rights, according to US media reports. The charges are not related to the Mueller probe that is examining alleged Russian meddling in the 2016 election. She allegedly worked at the directives of a high-level Kremlin official. Ms. Maria's attorney, Robert Driscoll, said in a statement released on Monday that his client was not an agent, but just an international relations student who is seeking to use her degree to pursue a career in business.
Canada is keen to provide its assistance and expertise to Dhaka in the field of aviation safety. The Canadian Transport Ministry gave a formal proposal showing interest to make Bangladesh as one of the partners of its aviation safety program. Canadian High Commissioner in Dhaka, Beno Prefontaine, handed over the proposal to Civil Aviation and Tourism Minister AKM Shahjahan Kamal at his Secretariat office in the Dhaka today. During the meeting, they also discussed about progress of purchasing 3-8 aircraft for Biman Bangladesh Airlines from Canada under G2G agreement between both the governments of Bangladesh and Canada. Now, weather news.